Just when I thought my welds were starting to turn out good, one of them broke at the worst time. My name is Dusty, and I'm a welding artist from Vancouver Island, Canada. On my YouTube channel, it is my mission to teach and show off the possibilities of TIG welding. And I want to show it to all the positive people in the welding industry who love TIG welding as much as I do. So, join me for my mission on my channel, and let's get welding. This is Pacific Arc TIG Welding. Hey arc heads, welcome. Thanks for tuning in to another episode from Pacific Arc TIG Welding. My name's Dusty. So, listen, I'm gonna tell you a story I don't think I've told anyone, let alone tell it on my channel to who knows how many people. When I first started TIG welding, I was basically only allowed to TIG weld simple things in the shop. The people that trained me a long time ago were extremely hard on me as far as what they would let me do. And it was years before I was actually allowed to weld on difficult projects, or especially things that would go to high-end customers. After a few years of practicing and working my ass off to get a lot better at TIG welding, I was finally allowed to take on some bigger responsibilities and do some more important jobs. I was really nervous about these jobs at first, but after a while, I got more comfortable. It wasn't until a few years later, I was working on one of the biggest jobs I've been a part of. It was for a boat. That's all I can really say about it on my show here, but it was for arguably one of the most important high-end clients we'd had so far. Feeling perhaps a little bit too confident, I did the job. And as a matter of fact, I actually thought I did a really good job on it. It was a whole bunch of outside corner joints, which were a lot of fun, as well as a bunch of other really intricate joints all around the thing that I made. I finished it, it got powder coated, and off it went. After about 2 months later, I got called outside by one of my supervisors. And when I came outside and looked underneath the crane, what I saw in front of me was the exact same thing that we had sent out a couple months ago. Only this time it was surrounded by a crowd of people that all looked very serious. And as I started to walk over there, they all stopped talking, they all looked up at me at the same time, and my blood ran cold. What had happened was one of the major strength points that I had welded had completely broken and pulled free under pressure and stress. The entire section I had welded with an outside corner joint had basically sheared off and broken free as if it wasn't even welded. When the plate came off, the plate was basically still straight on the edge. It looked like there was like a little bit of weld attached to it. That's about it. It hadn't penetrated the joint at all. Now, as I said, this was for a really big client. So not only did I not impress this client, but now as a shop, we had to give up more time to fix the mistake and make sure that we prevent it from ever happening again. So this small, well, maybe not small, this screw up affected a lot of people. Now, when I say I got in trouble for this, I got in big trouble for this. I felt horrible. I wasn't allowed to weld anything of any kind of serious nature for quite a while. And when I finally did get back on some real stuff, I was under pretty close watch, understandably. So let's go over what happened. The joint had essentially failed due to lack of penetration. So even though this joint may have looked pretty awesome before it went off to paint, and it did look pretty awesome, it didn't do anything effective as far as a function for fully getting into the joint. So after this happened, I began to practice this joint more and more. And I really wanted to make sure that obviously this never happened again. As you can see here in this example, this joint has been welded in an outside corner to corner configuration. However, when we flip it over like this, we see that there is very little or no penetration inside of the joint. Or another thing that's common when I'm teaching is traveling at too fast of a travel speed. When I'm teaching people, whether it's in person or online in my online training program, a person's natural instinct will be to travel a little bit too quickly. There is a natural fear of burning through to the other side, which is completely understandable. However, if you're doing this correctly, I actually think you'll discover that it's actually a little bit trickier to burn through to the other side than you think. As long as you are using adequate filler amount, the filler will act as a bit of a bolster between your weld and weld zone and the other side. We'll usually let you sink through to the other side for a little bit better penetration. Once you realize that this is actually a little bit more difficult to do than you think, my students can usually use a little more filler combined with a little more heat and a slower travel speed, with the idea being to fully get through to the other side. You can see here, this is some footage from a back side of a joint. How satisfying is this to watch, by the way? I could watch this all day. This was a joint I was doing where I had to achieve full penetration to the other side. This clip is sped up quite a bit. Here's the real speed here. Look at how slow I'm going. Traveling this slow, you would probably think I would burn through. But because I am using enough filler to fully fill up the joint, the filler will absorb some of that heat and make sure that this doesn't happen. And I can now travel at a much slower speed. So doing these things, taking a little more time to set up properly, I can fully ensure that we're sinking through to the other side for proper penetration. Now, obviously when we get things set up properly, all we have to do once we start running with our weld is just maintain. We have to keep an eye on things as we go and make sure they stay the shape and profile we need. So after all of this happened, I practiced this joint over and over for years basically. I used what happened as far as the mistake I made as an opportunity to get better. I encourage anybody who goes through mistakes like this, mistakes aren't a bad thing. Making a mistake and not using it as a learning opportunity, that's a mistake. A mistake should be something that makes you better, and it can give you better understanding of something it is that you're trying to learn. Everyone makes mistakes. As a beginner, as an intermediate, and as a professional, everyone makes mistakes. So I encourage you, no matter what level you're at, push yourself to learn something new. Learn more difficult joints, more difficult configurations. This is a great way to challenge yourself. Don't shy away from trying something new because you're worried about making a mistake. Anytime you make a mistake or you're in a situation where somebody else does, use it as an opportunity to learn. Check this episode here. This is basically the same thing that I did, but with stainless steel. I went over some brief torch techniques of how to do this joint. So if you're a beginner and you're looking to learn a little bit about this one, go check this one out. The link is in the description below. Now, I would like to do a full breakdown on this for aluminum as well. So if you'd like to see that, comment below. I'll get that one going as well. Again, this is one of the joints I teach in my online training program. I really enjoy teaching this one. This one's a lot of fun. If you're interested in my program, there's a link to it in the description below. Get in touch with me and you can learn a little bit more about it. So check out that other episode for a further look on this one with stainless steel. Go out today and do a random act of kindness for a stranger. The world needs more positivity. Do your part. So for Pacific Arc TIG Welding, my name is Dusty. Feel and chill. Peace.